BRICS Bulls Show daily podcast by In40U.
All right, everybody, get ready for this one because today we're diving deep into a discovery that sounds like something straight out of like an Indiana Jones movie or something.
Right.
We're talking about a mountain of gold.
It's pretty incredible. We're talking over 1,000 tons of gold recently discovered.
Oh, wow.
In China's Hunan province at the Wanggu goldfield.
Okay, so we've got this article from the BRICS joint website detailing the find. And I have to say, even just reading the headline, I was like, whoa, hold on a second. But before we go full on gold rush, let's break this down. Why should this discovery matter to anyone who isn't a prospector or dragon obsessed with shiny things?
Right. Well, this discovery has major implications for the global gold market.
Okay.
And could actually impact currencies and national economies.
Whoa. Okay.
Right.
Slow down there for a second.
Okay.
Let's unpack that a bit.
Right.
So China is already the world's largest gold producer.
They are indeed.
So how does this new discovery shift things?
So think of it this way. The basic laws of supply and demand still apply even to something as precious as gold.
Right.
This massive influx of Chinese gold could initially lower global prices, making gold more accessible.
Interesting.
However, at the same time, China is part of BRICS, a block of nations that are increasingly using gold to secure their financial positions.
So are you saying that BRICS demand for gold could actually counterbalance the effects of this increased supply?
Yeah, it's kind of a tug of war.
Yeah.
And the outcome is far from certain.
Okay, so anyone who follows the gold market, this is something to pay attention to?
Yeah.
Or if they're thinking about investing in gold?
For sure.
This is a development to watch very closely.
Absolutely.
That's a good point for our listeners to keep in mind. This
Yeah.
isn't just an academic discussion about shiny rocks. This is something that could actually
It could affect their wallets,
affect their wallet.
Yeah, for sure.
But what about the discovery itself? I mean, how did they find this much gold in a place that wasn't really known for it?
Right. So this is where it gets interesting.
Oh.
Geologists were able to use 3D geological modeling, which is essentially giving them X-ray vision to see what's happening beneath the Earth's surface.
Okay.
And so this technology allows them to map out these gold veins with an incredible level of accuracy.
So they were able to find...
Yeah, they discovered over 40 gold veins.
What?
Some of them actually visible in the rock cores they extracted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can just picture those geologists' faces when they pulled up those cores and saw gold glinting back at them.
Yeah.
It's like something out of an adventure film.
Yeah, it really is.
But let's put this find into perspective a little bit.
Okay.
The article mentions a value of $83 billion.
That's a lot of zeros.
That's a lot of zeros. That is larger than the entire GDP of many countries.
It is.
So it really underscores how significant of a discovery this is. Not just for China, but for the global economy as a whole.
Yeah.
So we've established that this is a huge discovery.
It is a huge discovery.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
But where does BRICS fit into all of this?
Right.
The article makes it clear this discovery is about more than just one nation's good fortune.
Right. So BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is a block of nations that are increasingly challenging what some have called the existing global order. For a long time, the global financial system has been dominated by Western institutions and currencies.
So BRICS is looking to create a
multipolar world.
Multipolar world.
Where economic power is more evenly distributed.
Okay.
Precisely.
And this gold discovery plays right into that ambition.
It does.
Okay.
BRICS nations already account for about 30% of the world's gold production.
Wow.
And with China's reserves boosted even further, their influence on the global stage grows considerably.
So they have a stronger hand when it comes to advocating for these alternative financial systems.
Exactly. And perhaps even ones that are partially backed by gold.
So we're talking about a potential shift in how we even view money itself.
Absolutely.
Not just a change in who controls it.
Yeah, it's a really profound potential shift.
This gold discovery could become a major catalyst for change.
It could.
But of course, BRICS is only one piece of the puzzle here.
It is.
To really understand the ripple effects of this, we need to look at how other major players in the gold world might react.
Right.
You mean countries like Brazil and Russia, who also have a significant stake in the gold market.
Precisely. And that's what we'll be exploring next.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. So let's shift our focus now to some of those other key players in the global gold landscape.
Okay.
We're talking about countries like Brazil and Russia, who are also part of BRICS, as well as some other major producers like South Africa, India, and Egypt.
Okay, but before we dive into each country's specifics, I'm kind of curious about the bigger picture here.
Right.
If this gold discovery does lead to BRICS having more clout, what could that actually look like?
Right.
How might it actually change things for the average person?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that the relationship between gold and global power is a long and complicated one. Historically, gold has been synonymous with wealth and influence. Nations have stockpiled it, fought wars over it, and even tied their currencies to it.
Yeah, like the gold standard.
Exactly.
We learned about that in history class.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about going back to that, are we?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But what we might see is a shift away from a system that is dominated by a single currency, like the US dollar, towards a more multipolar system.
Okay.
BRICS has already been pushing for this by establishing their own development bank, the new development bank, as an alternative to institutions like the World Bank and the IMF.
So with this added gold power, could BRICS actually reshape the global financial system in a way that benefits them and potentially other developing nations?
It's certainly a possibility. Imagine a world where BRICS nations have a stronger say in how international loans are issued, or where trade deals are increasingly negotiated in a basket of currencies that includes gold-backed options. That's a significant shift in the balance of power.
Wow, that's a thought-provoking scenario.
It is.
But let's zoom back in on those individual players for a moment.
Okay.
Starting with Brazil. They're the second largest gold producer within BRICS, right?
Yes, and Brazil's economy is heavily reliant on commodity exports, including gold.
So for them, this discovery in China could be a little bit of a double-edged sword.
It could be. On the one hand, if gold prices drop initially due to increased supply, that could impact their export revenues. But on the other hand, if BRICS influence grows and there's a move toward a more multipolar financial system, Brazil stands to benefit in the long run. Precisely. Now, Russia is another interesting case. They've been actively accumulating gold reserves, especially in the wake of economic sanctions related to the conflict in Ukraine.
So they're using gold as a way to safeguard their economy
Exactly.
and reduce their reliance on the US dollar.
Exactly. For Russia, this Chinese discovery could be seen as a validation of their strategy, further bolstering their efforts to create a more independent economic path.
So it sounds like gold is almost a form of geopolitical leverage in this situation.
It absolutely can be. And then we have South Africa, which, while not producing as much gold as it once did, still plays a significant role in the global market.
Right, and they're facing their own unique set of challenges, right?
They are.
Things like aging mines and labor unrest.
Yes, and that makes their position particularly interesting. They might benefit from increased demand for gold if BRICS' influence grows, but they also need to address those internal challenges to capitalize on this shifting landscape.
It's almost like a race against time for them.
It is.
Now, what about India?
Yeah.
They're the world's largest consumer of gold.
They are.
But they don't actually produce that much domestically.
That's right. India is incredibly reliant on gold imports, which makes them vulnerable to price fluctuations.
I see.
For them, a stable gold market is crucial. And this discovery in China adds another layer of complexity to their calculations.
I can imagine it's causing a lot of discussion among policymakers in India.
I'm sure it is.
Now, last but not least, we have Egypt.
Yeah.
They're a bit of a newcomer to the gold scene, right?
Relatively speaking, yes. They've been ramping up their gold exploration and production efforts in recent years, aiming to diversify their economy and attract foreign investment.
So for them, this global shift toward gold could be a chance to establish themselves as a serious player in the market.
It's certainly an opportunity they'll be looking to seize. So as you can see, each of these countries has its own unique perspective on this gold discovery and its potential consequences.
It's like we've zoomed out to see the whole chessboard.
With each nation making its moves based on its own position and goals.
Exactly.
But what does this all mean for the individual?
Right.
How might this mountain of gold actually affect someone listening to this right now?
It's been fascinating to kind of explore this whole geopolitical chess game that's going on around this mountain of gold.
Yeah.
But you're right. Let's bring it back down to earth.
Yeah, let's bring it home.
so to speak.
What does this mean for someone who's not a world leader or a high roller investor?
It might be tempting to think like, oh, this is all very interesting, but it doesn't really affect me.
But the reality is that gold, in some way, touches almost every aspect of our lives.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right.
Tell me more.
So think about it. The price of gold influences the cost of things we use every day.
Okay.
From electronics to jewelry. A sudden shift in the gold market could impact inflation rates.
Right.
Which affects everything from grocery prices to the interest rates on our loans.
So even if we don't directly buy or sell gold, we're still part of this intricate web of interconnectedness.
Absolutely.
And beyond those everyday impacts.
Yeah.
This discovery also raises some really profound questions, I think, about the future of money itself. Yeah. You know, we've been talking about a potential shift toward a more multipolar financial system. Right. One where gold plays a larger role.
Exactly. And what does gold even represent in today's world?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a physical object, sure, but it's also a symbol of value, of stability, even of power.
Yeah, that's a key point. Gold has this unique ability to hold its value across generations, across cultures, even across different monetary systems.
In times of uncertainty, people often flock to gold as a safe haven asset.
Right. It's almost like a primal instinct.
So while digital currencies and online transactions are becoming increasingly common, gold still has this inherent allure. It does like this grounding force. Right.
In a world that feels increasingly virtual.
Exactly. And the fact that these BRICS nations seem to be doubling down on gold suggests they see it as a crucial component of a future financial order.
One that's less reliant on the U.S. dollar and more balanced in terms of global power.
Precisely. But that also raises the question of sustainability.
Okay.
If demand for gold keeps rising, what does that mean for the environmental impact of mining?
That's a good point.
Right.
As with any resource extraction, there are environmental consequences that need to be carefully considered.
For sure.
Responsible mining practices, strict environmental regulations, the development of new, more sustainable technologies.
Right.
All those will be vital to mitigating those impacts.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even as we discuss these grand economic and geopolitical shifts, we can't lose sight of the practical, real-world implications.
That's a good point.
So I know we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
From the nitty-gritty of geological discoveries
to the high-stakes world of global finance.
It's been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
Full of twists and turns.
Yeah. Lots of different avenues to explore.
But before we wrap up, I'd love to leave our listeners with a few questions to ponder.
Here's something to consider.
Okay.
Imagine you're a policymaker in your own country. How would you approach this shifting gold landscape?
Okay.
Would you advocate for your nation to increase its gold reserves?
Interesting.
Explore alternative currencies? Or perhaps focus on developing new, sustainable mining technologies?
That's a great prompt for our listeners to really engage with the material. It's not just about observing these changes from afar, but thinking about how they might shape the decisions our own leaders make.
Exactly. And beyond policy, think about your own relationship with gold.
Okay.
Do you see it as a relic of the past or a potential cornerstone of the future?
This discovery in China has really thrown a spotlight on gold, reminding us of its enduring power and influence.
It's fascinating.
It's a reminder that the world is constantly in flux, and even something as seemingly stable as gold can become a catalyst for change.
Yeah, it's a story that's still unfolding and one that we'll be following closely here on The Deep Dive.
So to all our listeners, keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Your minds open. And perhaps even a small gold coin in your pocket.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Until next time, keep diving.